we had hot lunch. And my favorite food was shoestring potatoes. You get a big clump of shoestring, it was like matchsticks. And then you put a lot of ketchup on your tray, and you dump 2 matchsticks at a time in there and ate them. My favorite food. That was at the public school in New Glarus, Wisconsin. But halfway through 2nd grade, my mom and dad and all our family moved to Muscadet. And we started going to the Muscadet Christian Day School. And I still remember the first morning when our dad dropped me and my sister Rose off at the school on his way to work at Easy Trail Manufacturing. We were scared because we didn't know anybody very well. And we walked up those steps and we saw the pump out in front of the schoolhouse. That's, if you wanted a drink, you had to raise your hand, and you could go out and pump and use the cup that was hanging there to get a drink. And that winter, when it was cold, the 8th graders told me to lick the pump handle. It was all frosty and white, it looked like it would taste good. But I remember when I licked it, my tongue stuck to the handle. And I pulled it off, and I remember I can still see the shape. It was a piece of skin from my tongue stayed frozen on there. It hurt a lot. Don't try this. Never did that again. Well, we went on inside. We were just like 1 minute late, and all the children were sitting in the schoolroom already. But there was a little entrance there with a wall. And on the wall, there were hooks, and above the hooks were names for each student. That's where they hung their coat, and then they put their boots down below here. And we were looking around, Rose and I were, and we checked everything out. There was a rusty stove in the anteroom. There was a rusty refrigerator, and there was a wooden table. And on the wooden table were lunch boxes. Oh my goodness, we studied those carefully because you know what? There was a Huey, Dewey, and Louie lunchbox. And there was a Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs one too. And then we went on in and we had our desks and we tried to act like we knew what we were doing. But at lunchtime, we were all eyes because we wanted to see what was in those lunch boxes. And you know what those people had in their lunch? They had white Wonder Bread sandwiches with peanut butter and Boughton grape jelly. And they were cut on a diagonal. Ooh, we were watching every move. And you know what else they had? They had Snickers bars. Little Snickers bars in their lunch. And what else did they have? They had chips. They had little bags of chips, the kind that when you open them, they go poof. And they'd eat their chips. Crunch, 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 yeah. We were so jealous. It wasn't just a baggie with chips out of a big bag. It was little real potato chip bags. And they had little thermoses with chocolate milk in them. And some of the children had pop in that rusty refrigerator, and they got it out, and they guzzled that down for their school lunch. We were utterly amazed. And when we got home that evening, we said, Mom, we need Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs and cut on the diagonal and Snicker bars and those real poof chip bags. Because everybody else has got those in school. We have to have those to go to this school. And you know what our mom said? You don't know. You don't know my mom. She just looked at us and she said, the whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead. It didn't make much sense to us. because we didn't think about that. But she did not rush off to Muscadet to Walsh's and buy us lunch pails. In fact, she just went right on about her stuff and made supper and we went to bed. And the next morning, when we were ready for school after we ate breakfast, she had decided, oh, the poor little dears need something nice. And you know what she did for lunch? She found a wicker basket. It was this big, I kid you not. 2 big handles on it. And she had packed us a lunch. And it was a quart of homemade chili in the can with the ring and everything still on it. Half a loaf of brown bread with a knife to wedge off pieces. And a pint of dill pickles. And Tupperware, yellow Tupperware plates and forks and spoons and knives and a kettle to heat it all in. And then a nice little checkered white and red tablecloth to cover it all up. And we had to haul that in that school and set it beside those lunch pails, like the Huey, Dewey, Louie lunch pail and the diagonal sand. There it was, yeah. I mean, we were mortified. And then 10 minutes to 12, my sister had to get up and go out and crank up that rusty stove, put the kettle on it, glug, 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 all that stuff in there, heat it up. And then because our desks were like slanted, we had to sit at the classroom table and we glurped out our chili in those yellow Tupperware bowls that scritch, you know, when you put your, so we were up there scritching our chili and eating and scritch, eat, and slapping off brown bread and dill pickles, and there was butter and crumbs everywhere, and I remember Donald was in our class, in my class, and he was so curious, he got out of his desk and he came over to see what we were doing. And he was like, what is that? And we said, it's chili, it's good, it's homemade. And he's, ew. And he went back to eating his Snickers. And then Roxanne wanted to see too, and she came over and looked, and she was like, what is that? We said, it's brown bread, it's good, it's homemade. And she said, ew. And she went back and ate her diagonal sandwich, Wonder Bread white. We were so embarrassed. And that evening when we got home, we told our mom, we can't go to school like this. It's just too hard. And you have to understand about our mom. Our mom, when we moved to New Glarus, we moved into a farm that some people had sold us. And you know who our neighbors were? We called them hippies. They had long hair, and they had dropped out of the University of Madison, Wisconsin. And they'd come out here and they bought a farm, and they didn't know the first thing about farming. But they wanted to get relevant, and they were going to do their best. And we thought they were the strangest people ever. So I remember in our horse and buggy, we'd go plop, plop, plopping down the road, and I remember peering out the side door and looking at the hippies' farm, and they had goats. And they had tried to make a garden, but the rows were crooked. And the weeds everywhere, and the goats were, meh, you know, they weren't very happy because those hippies didn't know how to milk them. And then the hippies would drive by our farm, and they had one of those VW buses, those little old ones that go chunk, 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 and barely go. And they would stare out their windows at us to see what we were doing. And one day, they stopped, and they got out, and my mom was working in the garden, and I was trying to help. And they were like, ooh, those are the nicest tomatoes we've ever seen. How do you grow them things? And my mom was like, oh, it's easy, you know. Everybody knows how to do tomatoes. Here, have one. And that hippie guy, he picked off a tomato the size of an apple and just ate it right there standing in the garden. without salt and without slicing it. Just crunch, and it was all gone. And he was like, wow, this is the best tomato I've ever tasted in my life. So my mom got the idea that she kind of knew about food and stuff. And when we came back and said, we want to have white Wonder Bread like all the other children in school, she just said, no, no. She said, if everybody jumped off a cliff, would you jump off a cliff? Of course, I was like, what does that have to do with Wonder Bread, we said. But she was not to be changed. And so we had to, for the rest of our school days, we had to do things like we had to eat sandwiches made with whole wheat buns with watercress my mom gathered out of the spring down by the road. And she didn't sort it very well. So there were snails in it sometimes. And you'd like take a bite of watercress sandwich, and it would go crunch, and there would be a snail in there. And she just laughed as she said, that's your protein. And then my dad was kind of experimental with making cheese because he still had 2 cows. He'd sold all the other cows. And so we'd get every different kind of strange cheese you could imagine with our watercress sandwiches. And we had to eat those things in front of all those people with that wonderful smooth white bread on the diagonal. It was really hard for us going to school. My sister was in 1st grade, I was in 2nd grade, and we had to go all the way through 8th grade there. And it's a wonder we can even read and write. We were so distressed. But somehow we graduated, and we went on to do at least medium important things with our life. And looking back on that now, the odd thing is, now, I think watercress sandwiches on whole wheat bread are the best things ever. And I pay a lot of money for that now. And that funny cheese, I like funny cheese now, especially the kind with mold on it. And chili, homemade chili, that's my favorite food. And brown bread, oh my. And homemade dill pickles, I like all of that stuff now. It's the weirdest thing. And I have to think, we did learn to read and write in that school. And we did even learn how to count. But I think one of the most important things we learned going to Muscadet Christian Day School was that we should think, and we shouldn't always just do what everybody else is doing, because sometimes everybody else doesn't quite know how to do it anyway. And so that's the lesson I leave with you. If you look over here, you know how it is when you're in 2nd grade and everybody else has to do something a little different. Probably okay, you'll probably live. Make sure you know how to count and read and write. And I should have brought my juggling balls. You should learn how to juggle too. If you can do those things, and eat the food that your mom and dad gives you and learn all about that, you'll probably do all right. So that's what you can think about as you go through today. Thank you very much for your attention.